My name is Michael Thomsen. I grew up in Denmark, but I lived all my adult life in Australia. I currently live in Tasmania, the island south of the mainland Australia, and it's a very beautiful place. I've been a herbalist and naturopath for nearly 40 years. I also have a PhD in medical sciences from the University of Sydney. And my biggest claim to fame is the phytotherapy desk reference, which is both a book for students and practitioners of herbal medicine and also an online application with herb-drug interactions and research, as well as traditional information about herbal medicine. So that's the main focus of my work now, is to update the book and the application.
Speaking of long-standing traditional uses, let's talk about black cohosh. It has been used for centuries, particularly by Native American tribes for women's health. Michael, how did black cohosh play a role in traditional medicine? And was it used back then similar to how we see it today?
Yes, it's definitely used in a similar way. I believe the Native American people use black cohosh for menstrual irregularities in women, but also possibly menopausal symptoms, although you often think of menopausal symptoms and menopause treatment to be more of a modern thing. I don't think traditional people maybe, were so worried about the menopausal symptoms as women are today, but it may have been a traditional indication as well. But they also use it to ease childbirth. So all around reproductive health, women's health, menstrual cycle regularity, and those kinds of symptoms. But today, because of the German sort of focus on treatment of menopausal symptoms, such as hot flushes or hot flashes, as they call it in the US, that seemed to be the main focus of this particular herb. But there were some other indications as well. I know that the European settlers in the US, what became US, but in Americas, would adopt traditional medicine, obviously, but they also saw that it had effect or maybe had native use for things that are more inflammatory in nature. So rheumatism or arthritis, and also fevers and sore throats, as well as a general tonic for women's reproductive health. And it was revered in the US. I noticed that in the 19th and 20th centuries, black cohosh was included in the United States pharmacopoeia, and it was a common ingredient in many patent medicines for female complaints and for its anti-inflammatory properties.
I see. So that dates more to a recent era, and it seems like that black cohosh is often recommended for a very broad range of benefits. Are there any other conditions being used in modern days? And is there any linkage between the history
Yes.
and the modern use of the expanding of its roles?
No, so if you look at the research and if you did a quick Google search, you probably mostly read about menopause symptoms or hot flashes. And so that's a bit disappointing in some ways, because it means that all the other indications, the anti-inflammatory and maybe some of the respiratory inflammation conditions, are not being considered. And it becomes such a female herb as well. So there's sometimes in herbal medicine, this idea that some herbs are more female and some more male, but really black cohosh can easily be used for any condition in males. It's not just for women, not just for reproductive health. So that's a bit of a shame, but I think it's because of the strong influence of the German companies. They really focus on menopause as the main indication. And that's not surprising, because if a company has to bring out a product, they have to choose what it's for. And so they can't just say it's for a huge range of things. They have to get marketing authorization in Europe for a particular indication, such as menopausal symptoms. And then they obviously need to spend their research money on that same indications. Most of the research has gone in, clinical research has gone into looking at menopausal symptoms, which is good, but it's also a shame that some of the others are being excluded. Yeah.
That makes sense. I definitely see the market influence on the research team for this particular drug. And as for its unique characterization for controlling hormones and histamine levels for anti-inflammation, that is just fascinating because it just does so many things for the human race. And Michael, lastly, is there any interesting details beyond its composition and effects that are not as well known? We
Yes, I've always known it as black cohosh, the common name black cohosh. But apparently, there's also another nickname or common name, which is bugbane. And it's because the American native population, but also the early settlers, discovered that this strong odor of black cohosh could repel insects, particular mosquitoes and other biting bugs. So that's why it got this nickname Bug Bane, to get rid of bugs. That's not something I knew, and I don't know, it's been used like that. I guess you need the fresh herb for that, or the fresh plant part. The other thing, of course, is that it's called black cohosh or black snake root. And that was because the root is very black, and snake root because it was actually traditionally used for snake bites. I don't know how effective it might have been, but perhaps if it was a mild snake bite and there was a lot of inflammation and swelling, maybe that anti-inflammatory effect as the poultice, which is the topical application of the plant, might have been helpful there, reducing inflammation and swelling.
I see. That's so helpful. And I just hate mosquitoes myself, so I will definitely look more into black cohosh. And that might also be something Elon Musk might be interested in for control.
Excellent. I think you should approach him for a new business deal there.
That'll be perfect. Thank you, Michael, for the information you provided on black cohosh.